And now for something totally different. Do you know how some people watch musicals and they say, in real life, people don't just break out into song in the middle of what they're doing? Well, today's episode might help you realize that some of us actually do. Play keeps us youthful, curious, continually learning and gaining new insights, and is one of our main themes here on Star Potential. So I invited someone to talk with us who plays and creates in lots of different ways. Today's episode has no beginning, no ending, but jumps right into the juicy middle. We just couldn't bring ourselves to stick to the script, and that's kind of how we roll. It's really quite symbolic of my friendship with today's guest, Desi, who for some reason my AI assistant kept wanting to call Desi Parker, which we also thought was hilarious. Sometimes people enter our world and we instantly click, like we've known each other on some other dimension or life. It's so beautiful when the chemistry between two energetic beings is just electric. I fell out of my chair crying with laughter multiple times while listening to the playback of our conversation. And even if you don't think we're as funny as we find ourselves to be, I think you can't help but be infected by the contagious joy that we share. There's also a fair amount of innuendo in this episode, so don't say I didn't warn you. Let's get into it. Welcome to Star Potential, a podcast where we explore the meaning of our existence while having a few laughs and sometimes tears through stories from the road of life. I'm your host, Julie Jo Hughes. As a stage performer, my life is quite literally about song and dance. I believe that life here on Earth is a playground for discovery, not a contest to be won. We ask questions together like, how do I evolve my consciousness? And how do you sing a passionate ballad when there's an old guy in the front row with his balls showing? True story. Stick around for these fun conversations. Desi is an artist, dreamer, creator. As the player behind Dunamis Desi Designs, she describes herself like this. As a kid, I had one dream. I want to be like Vincent van Gogh, apart from the massive mood swings and irrational ear chop. Today, I am me with a little Vincent that creates from the heart and expresses with truth and love. I'm a little bit mixed, digital, raw, real, and authentic. Desi moves and breathes to a rhythm uncommon to most, untraditional, and wildly interested in living the biggest adventure, making the most memories possible, dreaming vividly, and taking steps that aid in accomplishing said dreams. On a mission to defy all the societal norms and be wildly free and authentic in every aspect of life, Desi is a singer, songwriter, fitness enthusiast, and mobility specialist. She's a lover of life and animals, and she's a best-selling children's book illustrator. But one of the most important things she is my good friend. And as I mentioned, we weren't able to keep ourselves to a strict beginning and ending, so we just jumped right into it. Please welcome Desi Parker Diamani.
Comedy podcast.
It is, because we're going to have a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
For sure. Let's see. I like this big thing in my face.
Of course you do.
Don't we all?
Uh-huh.
I mean, when you're in the mood for it, you know?
True. When it's unsolicited.
Yeah, I mean, nobody likes it just shoved in there. It's like Bradley this morning.
Yeah.
Right?
He was so gentle.
That's good. Well, I mean, it was cold out there and you were in a hurry.
Yeah. And when I put it in, it just wasn't working right. So
it just kept stopping, right? Like it couldn't.
Stopping and clicking, and it was driving me crazy. And Bradley, 19 years of service.
Oh yes, service is the word.
He served me well.
Oh,
and he helped me.
I bet he did. And then you had a full tank of gas after that, I guess, right?
I sure did. Rita Regina was happy.
Just to be clear, we're talking about your car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now your face is off the camera. So.
Oh, what did I do there?
Yeah, so maybe
we gotta
cozy up. Hi. I was really hoping we could get close to each other. Hold on, let me. If I just sit with my leg like this, will this distract your viewers?
What? It's gonna distract me.
It's gonna distract me too.
Oh my! See, now it's like this big thing in my face.
Yeah, no,
think you know what?
Oh, you're going to go lead singer, baby.
Right? This just feels right.
Well, this feels right, too, because I normally can't hold the microphone because I have a guitar in my hands.
Because you're strumming. It's true. Your hands are busy.
Strumming my pain with his fingers. Singing my life with his words. Killing me softly with his song. Killing me softly with his song. Telling my whole life with his words. Killing me softly with his song. Or tongue.
Oh, I never knew where to go on that note.
Song.
There we go.
That worked.
It's a tricky transition there.
It is. It would have been smoother, but Declan started licking my hand.
He got so excited and was like, I need to be in on this musical.
Music in my life.
Musical madness.
This musical madness and mayhem. Here we are.
I was trying to say musical magic, I think is what I was
Musical
going for.
magic.
Yeah,
I like
I
it.
said musical madness. We're gonna start it. #musical.
Musical. Musical madness. You got to say it like Sean Connery.
Musical madness.
Musical madness.
Oh, yes. That was very musical.
I don't really have a Sean Connery impression, but that was good.
Oh, thank you. Just like your mother likes it, Trebek. You know that skit, right? Oh, now you have to look it up.
Maybe I do, but yeah, I'll look it up.
It's an SNL.
So I see a sparkly blue dress too. It's that one.
This one right here?
Yeah.
That somebody actually, well, it would have been one of my babysitters in New York. I mean, babysitter for my kids. And her daughter bought the dress and it didn't fit her well or something. And she's like, do you want to buy this for my daughter? I was like, yeah, I always need costume pieces. And I didn't end up using it for 2 years. And then I had a show where I just needed a short little number that was super sparkly for the stage lights to pick up. And I was like, I actually have a dress that I bought for $30, and
nice.
That was that.
Cool.
So I used it, the orchestra guest solo spots. That's when I used it. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, we're looking at my closet here because we're very high tech here at Star Potential. There's a dog jumping on us. Our knees are literally overlapping, and we're staring at my costume collection here.
It's quite fabulous. I told her one day she should do a fashion show.
Yes, maybe that'll be a little spin-off, the Star Potential runway.
Ooh.
Yeah. You'll definitely be a part of that.
Sign me up.
Yes.
I'll have my agent call your agent.
Perfect. Our people will be in touch.
Yep. Sounds
Yes.
good. All right. See you later.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait, I can't go anywhere.
You're trapped. You're not going anywhere.
Trapped in a box of tremendous size. It distorts my vision. It closes my eyes. You never heard that song?
No. What is that?
That's No Doubt version 1.
What?
Yeah, their original self-titled album. It's
Oh
called
my
Trapped in a
gosh.
Box, and Gwen, I think, was 16 when she sang that song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice pulling that one. I love that you have all those musical gems that you can just pull out at a random...
Jukebox hero got stars in her eyes.
His, hers, whatever.
Them,
We're inclusive
theirs.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
We.
Stars in their eyes. We are our eyes.
Our eyes.
Yes. You do have beautiful eyes,
Thank
Desi.
you too.
Oh,
I just
thank
love
you.
looking into them. I wasn't sure if we were going to be side by
Trapped
side,
in a
shoulder
box?
to shoulder.
Oh.
Well, trapped in a box. Hey, a lot of people are trapped in a box.
It's true.
Chicken nuggets, French fries, shoes until they're put on your feet. Anyway, I wasn't sure if we were going to be shoulder to shoulder, side by side, looking straight ahead, not at each other. And I'm actually really glad that we're sharing this angle together.
I will share any angle with you.
And scene.
Well, you are a brilliant writer. That is one of your many talents. You are a person that plays in lots of different ways. No, but you're super athletic. You're super creative. You're super talented. And so I was telling you, like, I'm not sure which direction to start with you because we could go in any which way. And we have enjoyed many different directions on the stage together and off stage.
Yes. If you know, you know.
Yes. IYKYN. YK.
I know. I always have to think about it when it comes to writing it out.
Right? I try so hard to stay relevant, but these kids, they just keep redoing things, and I can't keep up with all the hashtags.
I know. I just create my own, and then they don't like make the algorithm.
It's true. I used to create my own too, and then it feels super clever, and the algorithm is just like, no, that's not how it works.
And then you try to use like the popular ones like FYP. That's a TikTok one. I think it's the For You page.
Oh.
Don't quote me if I am wrong. I'm 22, so years old.
Yes.
In my mind.
Yes, because time is an illusion.
It is. It's
all
a construct
relative.
that I think was made up to control us and
probably to buy beauty products.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, the man was like, wait a second. If we create a timeline, we can make them freak out at different age stages, and then we can commercialize it. I mean, it's probably not that far off.
I think you might be right. And you know what? To bring it back to play, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I bring play into my life. Because I don't agree with the timeline or the construct of man or woman or whoever created, you have to be here and here at this time. And if you're not there, then you've already missed it. And I disagree with that because I don't think that necessarily means you've missed it. It just might have been not for that time, but for the time you're in now.
Absolutely. Yeah, just like I'm always saying, you can't there's not really a right or a wrong choice. It's just you went on a different learning path. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you're going through the video game and it's like, well, I'm going to explore this world now. And I learned this lesson, or I added these things to my pack as I went along in that level. And then we end up learning the same lessons along the way anyway, whichever path you chose in your choose your own adventure.
Yeah, I was thinking about those books.
Yeah.
Did you ever read those books?
Yes.
You know, where you're like, if you want to do this, go to this page or that page. And you pick a page and like, oh, but I don't know if I like that page. And so you go back to the other one and read it again. And then you go, what about this one?
I was just going to ask you, do you ever make your decision and you're like, wait, what would have happened if I went the other way? And then you go back and you're like, maybe I'll go this way instead.
But what if I've already made those decisions, but I'm in the timeline? Timeline? I'm in the timeline. Lime. I love
Hashtag timeline.
What if we're living multiple lives at the same time and you're not missing out on anything except you're in the present one that you're in right now?
I think that's true. Well, it kind of goes to the quantum field. I think there are multiple versions of ourselves, almost like waiting in the wings, or not waiting, but actually having simultaneous. Hashtag simultaneous. Simultaneous experiences.
Yeah.
And then they're collectively like being added to the experience, and then the one that you're like experiencing, you can jump also. And it's why sometimes you feel like, we were talking just this morning at brunch, like I feel like I jumped timelines, and sometimes it can be like I think I was living this experience, and then I like came to a fork in the road and went this way, and it altered the timeline, and now I'm over here.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think that I was driving one time to LA because I was taking an acting class, and I was sitting there, and I was really like, I grew up Christian and I had like, faith and whatever. And I was sitting there with this girl, and I said, he has made every propitiation for every decision we would ever make so that we would never miss out. And I was like, so let me explain it in like easy terms.
Please do.
God, that's the who the he was in my thought, has made every act of he's already taken into account every single decision we would ever make, and he's already figured out the outcome so that we would never miss out on our life. So in that moment, I'm like, wow, I'm never going to miss out on my life, because no matter what decision I make, I'm always going to end up at the outcome of whatever I agreed to in the cosmic before time, when I was just a spark in the sky.
Yeah.
Like a star. Like whatever that was that I agreed to before I came here for my earthly assignment.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish it no matter what, because the creator of everything is the one that's kind of like helping direct the steps. And okay, well, she chose that page of the adventure, so we're going to go and fix it. Or not necessarily fix it, but like, okay, rearrange the path. I talk with my hands a lot.
Fix it, change it, rearrange it. Do you know that cheer? You were not a cheerleader.
I was not. I actually had. I did try out for the cheer squad in college, and they had me be the mascot.
Well, that kind of makes sense for, what you do, where you went after that.
Redlands, rah, rah, Redlands. And it was great. I was the bulldog for one football game, and that was it.
Oh, was that because you didn't care for it, or what happened there?
Well, the costume was big. I mean, I was used to like high quality costumes.
Yes.
And that one, it was so big, and then I ran to the other side of the field, and I seriously thought the other mascot was going to punch me in the face. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm tired. They were like, yeah, I'm tired too. I said, how about we just turn around and go back to our sides? And they were like, yeah, let's do it. Like,
oh my gosh.
So I walked back, and that was the last time I was the bulldog.
You had a heart-to-heart with the other mascot.
I did.
And you were just so glad you could speak, I guess, in that mascot uniform.
Yes.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, it was a big football game, and I'm just super grateful that they didn't punch me in the face. I didn't pass out.
Yes.
And yeah, my mascot career at the University of Redlands was very short-lived, as was my career at Redlands. Rah, rah, Redlands.
Woo!
I went there for a year.
Go Bulldogs.
Yeah. Octomolly, Gazali, Gazump. Never mind. If you know Redlands, there's a whole.
Oh man, I thought we were going for some new hashtags again.
Yeah, no, we won't.
Okay.
It's called the Octomolly. I encourage anybody to look it up. The Octomolly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting.
From the University of Redlands.
Okay.
It's a weird phrase that they started, I think, in the 1920s, and then they teach all the students, and everybody cheers. It's probably some hex.
Yeah.
Witchcraft.
Well.
Maybe
it's true. I was gonna say is it octagons? It's hexagons that are the optimal geometric shape as far as sacred geometry. So, but I wonder, the octo maybe has a negative charge or something. I don't know.
I doubt it.
And it sounds like it's a Mexican octopus.
The Octomolly.
Octomolly.
Octomolly, man, that's the one thing I actually miss. Tamales.
Oh.
I love them, but I don't eat corn anymore. And so they're in the masa, and I had one over the Christmas break, and it just made me sneeze and itch.
Well.
It's sad.
Yeah,
corn.
Let's have a moment for your corn past.
Okay.
Anyway, we're back. Moving on from octomollies.
Octomolly, gazali, gazumpty, yumpty, yada, yada, hoo, woo.
Wow. I mean, for such a short-lived career there, that really stuck with you.
Yeah, I if I sit long enough with it, I'll remember the whole thing and say it, and then I could honor those that go to University of Redlands, because you never know. You might have some of the U of R alumni listening to your podcast, or maybe they stumble across your podcast, and I don't want them to think I was knocking Redlands, because it was a really beautiful school, and I had such a great time.
Yeah, it just wasn't resonating with you at the time, apparently.
Yeah.
Where did your journey go after that? Where was that in the timeline of, okay, so just because we're going timeline now, timeline, I say with big air quotes.
Timeline?
For timeline, #timeline for those who like to think in the linear scheme of things. Just for those people, let's talk about we were talking a little bit about you had this head injury, and it actually led to you questioning everything. And I was like, look at that. This theme keeps coming up with the people that I'm meeting in my life, and it's kind of the, the Kickstarter of this whole podcast was me losing my voice, and then in that pain, like transforming that into something more meaningful. And you went through something like that as well, and you got hurt also on the job, but you had a concussion. And then how did you walk from I'm doing all kinds of creative things to questioning the meaning of your existence?
Did we talk about this? I don't remember.
No, we talked about this at brunch.
No, I'm kidding. It's a bad traumatic brain injury joke.
Oh.
But to be honest, I actually lost a lot of memory, and I probably still have trauma connected to that injury.
Mm-hmm.
But I was an acrobat, and I wasn't really living my creative potential because I didn't know my creative potential at the time, because I was just doing what I knew to be the reality of my world, my existence. Like, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you work that job, you make a lot of money, you retire, you die. That was the existence that I thought I was supposed to be living, because that's what is painted for us. And what was the question again? How did I get there?
How did you get to questioning the meaning of your existence?
Well, I would hang around a lot, upside down. Like at this job, I was a bungee acrobat, so I spent a lot of time like thinking, and like I was just hanging out one day before a parade, and I just remember going, "There's got to be more than this. There has to be, because if I do this every day for the rest of my life, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be bored out of my mind." And so I began to like subconsciously ask that question, and then, I had that head injury, and because I had that head injury, it forced me into, I would say, definitely a new timeline that would not have happened had I, and I have thought about like what would have happened if I hadn't gone that direction.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I've 100% like, no, I wouldn't be sitting here today if I had stayed and gone like through the whole injury process and stayed with the company, because I ended up quitting within a year. Before a year, I ended up quitting, but that head injury altered my course. And because everything that I had in my hands, like, okay, I had a secure job, I had just graduated from university, I had essentially any job that I wanted at that company lined up when I was ready to grow up, but I wanted to give myself one more year of performing. And when that shifted, I had no identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what that looked like, because all of a sudden it's like I couldn't even remember who I was with the day before, because my headaches were so bad. And so when you lose your capacity to think clearly, to rationalize clearly, it changes everything. And it's like I literally went through an identity crisis and had really nobody to tell me how to get to where I was going. And so I began to just question everything, like what's real. And there was a day where at that time I was still very much like, I was very active in church. I was an intern at one point at a church, and I eventually went into missionary work, and that's a couple years after the head injury. But I remember sitting there at a Starbucks one day, and I was on this medication that caused me to severely lose a lot of weight, and I had the worst side effects from it. But it's like I would have a conversation with you, like, I was joking about it when I said, what was the question, or did we talk about that? But that's how it was. Like, we could have a conversation in one moment, and then 30 seconds later, I would forget.
You were real life Dory.
Yes, I was a real life Dory, 100%.
Ooh, that's super scary.
Yeah. And I went out with a friend, like one of my best friends. I went out with her for karaoke one night. The next day, her sister came up to me at work and was like, "Hey, did you have fun with my sister last night?" And I was like, who's your sister?
Oh my gosh. And not even from partying too hard.
No.
It was literally just like your brain wasn't functioning properly.
Yeah.
That's super scary.
Yeah. And so I was on my way to work that one day, and I had to take a break from performing because the headaches were so bad. And I remember sitting there in the Starbucks, and I was journaling, and I journal a lot. I've been journaling since, I don't even know, sometimes it's more than others, but at that point, I would write something and I would forget. So I would read something and I would forget. And I'm like, there's got to be more than this. So I just like went, I was reading the Bible at the time and I was like, I'm going to give it one more chance, God, if you're real, if this is what it is. And it was like Psalm 37, trust in the Lord and do good and be fed on faithfulness. And
Oh, wow.
I was like, how do I let faithfulness sustain my life? If faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, so then I'm having like, that meme with like all the, the angles and
the little mathematical symbols all around you.
That was me. It's like, suddenly something was clicking on the inside. And I realized in that moment, it was May 16th at 3:37 p.m. No, May 15th, 3:37 p.m. In 2006. And I just remember going, I have to trust God 100% of the time.
Whoa.
He's not looking for 95%, 5%. He's looking for 100% of my faith or nothing at all. Because in order to be fed on faithfulness, you have to trust. And trust is an us issue. It's not me. There's no I in trust. It's an us thing. So God's trusting me. I'm trusting God. And the only way it's going to be possible is if when I start to forget to trust him, God reminds me to trust him. And so I covenanted, which I didn't even know what that was doing, but I was like, from this day forward at May 15th, 3:37 p.m., I choose to trust God 100% of the time. And when I start to forget, it's only by his spirit that I'm reminded that it's God that's faithful 100% of the time. And I signed my name.
Wow. Hashtag covenanted.
Hashtag covenanted, and life changed. And that was the beginning of my real undoing into my awakening.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a process.
Yeah, I thought it was so interesting at the beginning when you were talking about, I think to the layman, we'll say, the fact that you're saying, I had just gotten a college degree, I had a career mapped out for me, I was a freaking acrobat. And most people would be like, wow, your life is so incredibly exciting and amazing. But from your perspective, you were going, is this all there is? And it reminds me of that thing, Jim Carrey says, like, I wish everyone could achieve the life of their dreams. I'm paraphrasing here, but so that they could realize that that's not where the happiness is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like no matter what your life is looking like, if you haven't found like the deep meaning to it, then we all come to that place, or I think most of us do, at some point where you just question, what does it all mean? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? What am I? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? How do I know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing? And so you came to that, and it's so interesting to me how it's oftentimes through trauma.
Yeah.
It's what gets our attention, I guess. It has to be something that shakes up your world in a strong enough manner that causes you to just like pause and look at everything differently and go, what is all of this?
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just on the hamster wheel and you're just, is that what we were talking about at brunch today, which was it's whether you're in survival mode, if I'm just doing this because this is what we do every day, or do you have like an intention for your life and your day, and even though you're doing the mundane tasks like we all are, you still kind of have this guiding light, so to speak, that you're like, I know who I am, I know what my intentions are, and that's what I carry with me all the time, that makes this mundane stuff more bearable, I guess, right? Because it's like, well, actually the mundane it's part of the experience. It's like what we came here to experience. Parts of it are mundane, parts of it are hanging upside down on a trapeze bar, but
I haven't done that one yet, but maybe someday.
Well, there's plenty of months left in the year, Desi.
I know we only are in March. I do miss the acrobatic stuff. And yeah, I think that we all go through the process of living out the everyday in life. That is what life is.
Yeah.
I mean, we get 24 hours in a day, and I wish we had more sometimes.
Except when I'm tired.
Yeah.
Then like 8 is plenty.
Yeah. But I think that what has when you dare to risk and to dream and to actually question, because I think a lot of people, many will find like purpose and fulfillment in life and like really feel like they've like rocked it and they're living like more than just the mundane.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to live more than the mundane, you have to take a risk and you have to ask questions. And then when you start asking questions, you open up yourself to a possibility of the unknown. And a lot of people don't want to go into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Into the unknown. I'm not going to sing that one because that's definitely a belter song. And you're the belter.
Well, it's because that's my
You're
department.
the belter. Go for it.
Into the unknown. And then we got to do that. Into the unknown. Wow. I was not prepared for that, but I took a stab.
I love that we can resonate with each other in song.
Yes, and resonate in intervals.
I know.
Yeah, thirds and fifths. Yes. You know, Desi, you're I hope that everyone has a Desi in their life. Like when we met for the first time, it was really like in Step Brothers when they say, "Did we just become best friends?"
I think you're stuck with me.
Yeah, you're the jelly to my PB. It's
I was gonna say you're the jelly to my roll.
that too, girl.
You know, I'm so lucky we met. I really am.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we could really talk about is, you know, they say like you are like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And sometimes I think we need to check in and go like, who am I spending my time with? Is that the vibe I want to be hanging out in, you know? And it doesn't mean that those people can't stay in your life sometimes, but we do consciously or unconsciously attract people who are on our same wavelength. And so I do believe that we were drawn to each other because when we are in the same space together, if you can't feel it here, like you probably can even just in the audio waves. And then if you're watching the video, you even get another glimpse into it. You feel it a little bit more. But Declan here on the floor, the dog, like he's totally feeling it. He's been crazy ever since you walked in. He was like, I don't know what we're so excited about, but I am here for it.
Yeah. And now he's like, chill.
Yeah, because he feels so like held in the warm, loving energy, right?
Cocoon.
That's right.
I feel like it's just palpable.
Yeah, it totally is. And people that have worked on the same stage with us, and they say too, like, you too have something special because we just bring it out in each other. There is an amazing chemistry concoction that happens when your energy mixes with my energy. And you should definitely seek out the people that do that for you because it brings out all your best elements or even your hidden elements. Like I feel like you and I both have many facets, and when we're in different social settings or whatever, we kind of like, oh, okay, let me dim this light a little bit and turn up this one because that's what's socially appropriate or whatever. But we get together and like socially appropriate goes out the window.
That's true. We left the restaurant today and the ladies were talking at the front desk and they're like, so which one of you has the good voice because we heard you singing or something like that. No, like you sounded so beautiful, and she's like, it was both of us, and I'm like, it was.
And we're like, yeah, and we flicked our hair and we walked out the door.
And then we finished the song outside.
We did. Yeah, we did. The guy beside us, like, you know, usually when we start singing together at restaurants, because actually I think that happens every time we're together.
Yeah.
Something comes on the radio and like you just can't help but jump into those harmonies. Yeah. Come on, especially when you're with another singer. And another thing we were laughing about is that sometimes she's alto, sometimes she's soprano. I'm the same way. What do we call it?
Sopralto.
Sopralto, yeah. Hashtag sopralto. Oh man, we are coining so many trends on this podcast. You're welcome, America and the world.
You're welcome, everyone.
Yes. I just said America because I think that's in a movie. Is it in a? It might even be Ron Burgundy.
I was just thinking it was from that movie.
Yeah.
Anchorman.
Yep, Anchorman. Shout out. Hashtag shout out. Anyway, even though we both cover different parts, somehow every time we sing, we both jump to different parts. And it's not like you always take the top and I take the bottom.
Get your mind out of the gutter, everyone.
Yeah, what? I was
you
talking about
singing,
musical parts.
singing.
Sopralto, come on. But anyway, somehow you always go
where I need to go. You need to go where you need to go. I just snorted. You're welcome, everyone.
We cover all the parts.
We do. No questions asked.
Right. So I think then it was funny that they thought just one of us was singing. It was like, we are so in sync that they thought that was just one voice, even though it was multiple notes. Multiple notes being sung at the same time.
Multiple notes being sung at the same time. Can't even say that.
We meshed a lot of different dialects.
We just did.
Yeah.
We're so sorry. We should do an apology at the end to all dialects we just messed up.
It's true. Yeah, sorry to everyone who we may or may not have offended. The funny thing is, we're so silly when we're together, and people always assume that like we've been booze brunching.
Yeah.
And actually we didn't. We had coffee.
Yeah. Well, you had coffee today.
Oh wait, you did.
I had a little bit of spicy tomato juice.
It was the tahine.
It was the tahine rim.
It's always the rim.
But no, even when I got out of my car, before I even got out of the car, just knowing I was going to see you,
yeah,
I felt this like joy, which, that's bringing it back to play again.
Yeah.
I feel joy when I think about you. And so I felt this intoxication.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a booze-filled intoxication. It was just like, ecstasy.
Yeah.
There's like a movement of mystics, and they were ecstatic because they would go into these places in the realms of heaven and God and spirituality, and they get blissed out.
Uh-huh.
And you're the type of person that brings out the bliss in me.
And that's what you do for me.
Oh, the bliss of those who know.
Oh, I love you.
I love you. Start spreading the news. That's it.
Okay, moving on.
Because that's the wrong song. I mean, anyways.
But yeah, that's true because you, that's what ecstasy and things like that do for you anyway, is they turn off like pain receptors, and I don't know scientifically what's happening, but I do know there is a science to it, right? That it's like turning on the happy neurons and like turning off the unhappy ones. And so our bodies are incredibly complicated with what our hormones can do just on our own. And I think when it's like walking into a music store, and if you plucked the G on one guitar, like the other guitars would start resonating the G as well.
Have you ever tried that?
I haven't.
Oh, I highly recommend. It's weird, but sing into a hole of the guitar.
Uh-huh.
Like just start humming, like hum, and then the
guitar starts singing it back to you.
I was waiting for the guitar, but there's no guitar in here. But
sorry about that.
I was
it's in a case in another room.
I was using my imagination because my imagination is very active and very good, and I can visualize it well.
You totally just passed me the improv baton, and I was supposed to jump in there. And then you start feeling the pulsing, right? Yeah, of the actual waves. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. But I think that's what happens when you find somebody else that brings out your own high vibe, and then you both start high vibing, and it is like you feel the pulse of like, I think we got a thing going here. Did we just become best friends? Like it's a real. I think there is science behind it. It's not
totally.
Yeah. So cool. We can't explain what it is, but we know it's there.
Yeah.
I do love geeking out on the science of it, though.
Hey, sister, soul sister, gotta get that. I don't know the words.
Yeah.
It's only that part.
Soul sister, go sister, go. So sister, go soul.
Is that what it is?
It's hey sister, go sister, so sister, go sister. I was trying to say soul, not so, but it sounded like so.
Hashtag so sister.
Yes. You my soul sister.
You my soul sister.
And my go sister.
We were meant to meet.
You were meant for me, and I was meant for you.
I'm going to try to harmonize, but...
I know, there's no harmony in that part.
I can make one up.
We could sing Foolish Games.
We could try it.
Yeah. Or do you want the melody?
No, go for it.
Foolish games are tearing me apart. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I liked it.
I'm like, let's go.
We can keep going.
Let's go.
You throw out another one, we'll give them some more.
I wish there was like comments flying up because I'd be like,
we should do it live. We should do it live where they
We'll
just
do it live sometime.
That's a really good idea. I actually love that idea.
Drop a tip in the jar if you'd like us to do a live someday with all of the different songs that you request, and we'll spontaneously create harmonies for them.
That's right. As my daughter would say, like and ascribe.
Like and ascribe. Yes.
Give me some more hearts, she would say. Not seeing enough hearts out there.
Or if we're on Facebook, can we take some stars?
Yes.
We'll take some stars. Drop a star.
And stars are very appropriate for this podcast.
That's right.
Star potential.
Star potential.
That's right.
Ooh.
I'm feeling the potential for a few more stars out there.
Yes.
See?
That's great.
There's all kinds of things we could do with it.
You know, I'll bring my guitar next time, and we'll maybe I'll learn how to play that song on the ukulele instead.
Oh yeah, yeah, because there's not enough room for a guitar in here.
And then we'll sing that song.
I love it.
Don't forget who you are, little star.
Oh yes, that's a song that you wrote. So okay, let's talk about some of the many ways that you explore creativity in your world, because my goodness, there are many. So we talked a little bit about the fact that you were doing acrobatics. I know that you also play volleyball. You surf and you teach others how to surf. You rollerblade. My gosh, okay, so that's some of the physical ones that I know about, besides the fact your mad dance skills. She's kissing her guns. But then, okay, you write music, but then you also write children's books. You illustrate books. Oh my goodness, you've got a killer song about paper straws, but I know you have many other songs as well.
I hate paper straws. They remind me of you. They break down. Go, sorry. Good.
I was waiting for you to get to the limp part.
They melt down too. All that's left is an empty cup with a limp old straw.
Woo! There it is.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to
You
cut
had
you
me
off.
at limp.
I'm sure you could probably help with that. Did you ever see that episode of Friends?
Could you be more specific?
Where Monica is working in the restaurant and she dates the guy who says he hasn't been able to
No.
Well, look it up.
Okay. I probably have seen it back in the day, but I don't recall it at this moment in time.
He used the story about how he was so sad in his life that he wasn't able to
Wow. Well, depression can do that to a fella.
Is I can help you with that. Anyways, check it out. I'm not sure which season it's in. It might be one of the first seasons, actually.
Okay.
Because they were wearing shoulder pads.
Oh, Were they in Central Perk at the time?
No, she was working at a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
No, because she worked at Central Perk a little bit later. No, that was Rachel that went.
Yeah, it was Rachel that worked there. Well.
Anyway, I digress.
Where were we? All your many talents and the many ways that you express creativity. I mean, we could go on and on. We met in a band. That's one of the things that we've done together. But one of the reasons why, it's pretty obvious at this point, why I wanted you to come on, because you bring out a different facet of me that is that I think is so much fun. I'm just super fun when I'm around you.
Same. Yes. You're super fun when I'm around me too.
Right.
Right. I'm super fun when I'm around you.
And that too. Yeah.
But
so
we finish each other's sentences.
we do. Sandwiches.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But besides the fact that I just love being around you and I love to be silly, but what's funny about us and #brilliant is that we I love how in the same 5 minutes we'll be talking about like the meaning of our existence and also like silly Bradley helping you at the pump this morning. You know,
I couldn't have done it without him.
No, you couldn't have.
It was cold and the vapors were fighting each other.
He knew all about the vapors with his 19 years of service, and boy did he service Rita.
He did. Rita Regina Renegade had the best morning.
Good for
Bradley
her.
at the helm.
She deserves it.
She did.
And
she does.
She does. And
I don't give her enough credit.
Well, Bradley gave her a little something.
He sure did.
And he explained to you how you were shoving it in there too fast.
Yeah.
Especially when it's cold out. You can't just go shoving it in there, Desi.
And then it just kept clicking on me, and I just...
Rita was like, back it up, Des. Like, you can't just come shoving your gas in me like that. And I think...
Well, I was in a hurry to get to the gym. I mean, it was freezing outside. I was in short shorts and...
Well, I think life taught you a lesson about what happens when you try to force it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to pump the brakes a little bit.
That's right.
And call on Bradley.
That's why we lean on each other. You had a Bradley there to step in and go, hey, sister, slow it down. Warm it up a little bit. Rita is not ready for that kind of penetration this early in the morning.
She was being very difficult this morning.
But can you blame her?
Look, even he had some issues. And then eventually he just had to hold it the whole time.
Sometimes we just have to assist the whole time, This took an interesting turn.
Oh.
As it always does when we're together.
I know. I love it. I love it.
That's why I wanted to bring you here, because this is a whole different episode that our listeners have not really experienced yet in the Star Potential realm. But welcome. I hope you're enjoying it.
Something that came up for me earlier was thinking about how I got to the place of play and creativity was actually walking through the seriousness of life and that head injury. And I always wanted to be creative. I wanted to be an artist since high school, but I was always drawing growing up. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until I couldn't function properly that I was able to get to the creativity. But it was at the loss of my control and my knowledge of everything at that time in life, because I really know nothing now. The more I know, the less I know.
No, it's so true.
Anyway, so to get to the place of play, and even like we were talking, and a lot of the podcasts from previous have been more on the serious end. Mm-hmm. And so we weren't really sure which direction this was going to go. And I'm like, well, we might end up in tears, or we might be laughing so hard that we cry. And you can't have one without the other.
Love and marriage. The big stamp at the end. We can't have a serious conversation. You can't take us anywhere, including this closet, which is getting very hot, right?
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, no, you're so right that it's all the mixed pot of what we get to experience as humans, right? And you gave me that little tip one day. You called it your get to list. And I was like, what are you talking about? And you said, a long time ago, I stopped calling it a to-do list. And I realized that these are the things I get to do. So is it a get to list?
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, stealing that. I love it.
# steal away.
That's right. Steal away. Why don't we steal away into the rest of the conversation?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know that song. But that's okay.
That's some classic yacht rock.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
You know more yacht rock than I do. I'm steering my ship a different direction.
Yes, you're going a little more beachy.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yes, I know. But, it's all timing because I got back into surfing.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I love the beach. I hate the sand. Really
Oh, yeah.
I hate sand.
Yeah.
It gets everywhere.
You
find it
everywhere.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're like body surfing and you hit the bottom, you get sand in your hair anyway, sand.
Yeah, sand. Hashtag sand probs.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll get sand in your shorts.
You will.
That was a way we described one of the shows I did a long time ago.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, before we run out of time here for our first episode together, let's just talk for a minute, like impart us with some Desi wisdom on. So you are a person, this is the point I was trying to make like 40 minutes ago. No, I love where this has gone. It's fantastic. But I love how you find a way to play no matter what you're doing. And I think that you, as a person who wears many hats and does all kinds of different things, you also bring your creativity and your imagination and your childlike playfulness into everything. Like when you're surfing, you're doing that. When you're writing a children's book, you're doing that. When you're on stage, you're doing that. When you're helping people with their mobility, like you're also doing that. You're helping them remember that their body can move in all different kinds of directions, and let's help your body remember to do that. So tell us a little bit about how the everyday man can, or woman, or they can invite play into whatever it is we're doing on a daily basis. Like it's not about having a job that's play necessarily, right? Like you can play no matter what you're doing. What would you say to somebody who's just like all seriousness and they're never laughing at the Bradley moments in their life?
That's a loaded question.
Well, that's how I like it.
There's a song in my head. I can hear it.
Of course there is.
I can see it in my mind. I would say play. It looks different for everybody, and something I know I said earlier. It's about, in order to get out of the mundane, you have to go into the unknown, and the unknown is scary. It's daunting. It's unfamiliar, and as we grow up through life, we start to lose our ability to play because we're told you have to be serious and you have to do this and you have to make this and you have to blah, 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 blah. All of those things. And to get back to a place where there's freedom in life, no matter what, because, I have to work in an office from time to time, and I'm always making jokes, or I end up breaking rules accidentally, like the other day, and I'll get to the play thing, but the other day I was training some people, and there was like a box of snacks that was in the office, and I took it into the group that I was training, and I offered them snacks, and, ask permission. What's that thing? Like, it's better to ask for forgiveness than
ask for permission.
Ask for permission. But wasn't even thinking about that. I was just trying to bring some joy to these trainees. And there was this really small group, so it's not like there was like 10 in the room. There was like two people. And everybody took like a little, not everybody, only a couple people took a snack. And then I brought the snacks back, and they're like, you can't do that because we can't set that precedent for everybody else. And I was like, oh, well, I was just trying to be kind. And they're like, we know you didn't do it maliciously. And I'm like, cool. Well, I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
Didn't realize we were hashtag fun haters.
Anyway, I don't know. So for me, play it's in the things I do, but it's also in the way I am. And so to encourage people a way to get into that place of freedom, one thing is like breath work. Like, when you're feeling so serious and so stressed out, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, imagine yourself somewhere fun, like at the beach, or if you don't like the beach, in the mountains, skiing, or if you can't even do that, like just take 3 deep breaths, put your hand on your heart and realize like, okay, I'm alive. I have blood flowing through my veins.
Hashtag Baines.
Hashtag Baines. I have blood flowing through my veins today.
Yeah, and there's no imminent threat around you, right? Like, I am here. It is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, maybe sometimes I like to look at nature, and I like to stare at the funniest parts of nature, like a leaf, and I'll take up one leaf off of a tree and I'll stare at that little leaf, and I'm like, wow, that leaf has like all these veins, and the colors change, and it's got this many points. And when I look at stuff that's not myself or not in my immediate circumstances, it causes my mind to shift and think differently. So I'm focusing on something otherworldly or other out of my humanness into like nature, and then my mind has the ability to think outside of the box that it's been in because I'm in an office or I'm doing a job that I don't want to do. And then another thing I do is thankfulness.
Right.
It's a habit I started about maybe, I don't know, I have to count the days, but we're over at 2,060 something days of saying thankfulness 3 times. Like I write 3 things. And I've done it almost.
Wow. So you're looking like 6 years or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
At least.
Thank you, mathematician. Because
Well.
it starting in April, actually, it'll be whatever year I started. It might have been 2018. So it's been a while since I've been writing 3 things every day. And it started as like I write in a journal, and then I started putting it on Facebook. And sometimes people respond. A lot of times they don't. But I get feedback. Like, I love reading your thankfulness posts. Because it just always reminds me that there's so much to be grateful for. And to get to play that, like, thankfulness is one of the ways that changes my mood. Like, if I'm feeling down, like I can think of 3 things that I'm thankful for. Like right now, I'm thankful for Declan laying there on the ground because I know he's in a place of peace. And I'm thankful that I'm sitting next to you and that we're friends and that our paths crossed in this time.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that we get each other even when we're not even trying.
Yeah, it's true.
See? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, joy's here. And then if I can get to that place, and it's not even, I don't even have to try. It is what it is. And I've been cultivating a practice, I would say, for anybody who wants to implement play in their life, begin to cultivate the practice. Maybe doodle, get a piece of paper and draw that stick figure, or pick up a paintbrush. If you've been wanting to paint for years, just buy a small canvas and a small little paint set and do it. Who cares what it looks like? Just do it.
Yeah, and I think that that's an important note to bring up, is that sometimes we talked about this morning too. Sometimes we think we have to wait till X, Y, and Z happens until we can begin something. But it's like, if you don't have a lot of extra time in your day right now and you think, when I have a little bit more time, or once it's summer, or once the kids are in school or whatever, we think like, I'm going to start that gratitude practice. It's like, no, you can start now. Like, you could literally take 3 minutes of your day and be like, I'm going to just, before I fall asleep at night, I'm going to think of the 3 things that I'm grateful for today. And gratefulness is, like, in my opinion, one of the quickest ways to alter. I'm trying to think of a word that means up, to raise.
Lift.
To lift,
Ascend,
elevate your vibration.
Yeah.
If you're feeling like down in the dumps and that's where your vibration is, like, one of the quickest ways to raise that is like, think of something that I'm grateful for right in this moment, and immediately your physical being, your energetic being, like, you will begin to lift up out of where you are, because there's always something to be grateful for. And you don't have to wait until X, Y, and Z to be grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. And even in, like, okay, so we're talking creativity, like art, but on the other hand, you know, you mentioned like me playing volleyball, and I played volleyball in high school until they cut me because I was too tall for the team.
I'm sorry I laughed so hard.
I'm glad.
That must have been long before I knew
I'm
you.
only 4'11", but I'm going to heaven, and it makes me feel 10 feet tall. That's by an artist called Evie.
Oh.
I only know it because like it was in a lip sync contest years ago that
Oh.
this lady, she was like 6 feet tall singing the song, but she was laying on her face like this.
Oh my gosh.
And her legs were behind her. And then there was somebody else who was like, had their arms around her and they were doing this.
Oh my
when
gosh.
She was on their feet. Anyway.
Clever, creative. I know it from a church camp when I was like in 4th grade. This girl used to use it as her audition piece every year.
Oh.
Because she was, and then one year she said, I'm so excited because this year I'm actually 4'11". Bringing it back.
She's
Bringing it back.
probably taller than 4'11" now, I hope.
Well, hopefully a little bit.
I mean, on a good day, I'm like 5'1" with the right shoes.
Yeah. I say, yeah, I'm 5'3" with my shoes on.
Yeah. Anyway, I was going to say something before.
Yeah, sorry. So many tangents.
Oh, practical things you can do to
Yes.
implement play in your life. And for me, I was playing volleyball until I wasn't playing volleyball. And then I discovered the Meetup app and found a run club. And I'm like, well, if I could find a run club, because I started running with a bunch of people who like to meet at breweries, and we drink beer, and then we run, and then we drink beer, sometimes both and. But then I'm like, what else can I find? And then I looked up volleyball, and I found like a sand court near my house with people that play every week, and it was free.
Sand.
Like really not, it doesn't count as sand because it's like cement. Ground up cement. Don't dive. You'll have scars. I know. It was accident.
Sounds horrible.
Anyway.
You really wanted friends.
Well, yeah. I wanted friends. I don't even like know any of them. Like we never exchanged numbers, but that was the stepping point back into volleyball.
Okay.
It was going through to a park and playing with a bunch of like older people, like people of all ages, but like some close to my age, some a little bit in the younger years of their life. #younger.
I'm picking it up. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm saying there's so many tools out there, and then with technology as great as it is in the internet, you can find things to do to play. And so if you have an itching on the inside, just find a group, do it, try it.
Find a group to scratch it for you.
That's right. Scratch that itch. Okay.
Beep.
Beep. Beep.
Hashtag.
Scratch that itch. Beep.
Man, we are going to be so trending after this episode.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going to beat the
What's her name? Algorithm?
Here.
Thank you.
We're going to meet the algorithm.
Oh my gosh. We could stay here for 4 more hours and forget that we were doing anything that was being published in the world, because this is just how we talk. But I want to ask you some fun questions here so our listeners can get to know a different side of you a little bit. And then Desi, will you come back and talk with us some more?
Let me think about it.
Do you need to phone a friend?
Okay, it's fine.
Okay, great. I'm good. Thank you, friend.
Yes, I would love to.
Great. Okay. Pew, pew, pew. As a kid, what did you always want to be when you grew up?
Well, I wanted to be an artist. And it became more specific which one in high school, like Van Gogh.
Oh, specifically. Like,
yeah. Except I didn't want to cut off my ear because of depression.
Well, go big or go home is what I say. So I guess you had to choose a different path.
Well, the funny thing is I am an artist. And I did have depression, but I did not cut off my ear.
No, you just got a concussion in your head.
Yeah. And that brought me to the place where now I play a lot.
Look at that manifestation that you did. Good job.
Yeah.
Which season of the year makes you feel most alive?
I would say fall and winter. Like even fall into winter. Can I make that
Is
a
this
season?
Finter. Hashtag Finter.
Flinter.
Flinter.
No, Finter.
Flinter sounds like...
Rita Phalange.
Sounds a little bit phallic.
It does.
Which just makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Funter. Flinter.
Funter?
Flinter.
wanna fanter? Don't you wanna fanter? We're going to get sued. Okay, now are we talking California fanter?
Yes, I do love snow, though. I love rain. I really like the rain. I know
do too.
It depresses a lot of people, but because I've lived in California my whole life, we don't get enough rain. And when it rains, I love the rain. I just love the sound of it on the so rainy winter and fall days or spring days too. I love rainy days. That's my season. Rainy season with sunshine occasionally.
So you like a wet felter?
I do. I like a wet felter.
Who doesn't? If you had a theme song for every time you made an entrance, Desi, what would it be?
You know, I was thinking about that the other day, and dun da 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 dun da 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 dun 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 dun. I can't remember what the song is, but this. I know you know it.
Yeah, I'm hearing it in my head.
But it's that part of that song.
Man, this is where we need to be live again because somebody could comment it and we would be like, yes.
Yes, I would say.
You get a gift card.
I would say that's probably the song that I'd love to play, but there's probably another one with like lyrics that.
Well, there's so many different criteria we could use for what our theme song would be, right? It's like, what do we enjoy, especially as performers? It's like, what would I enjoy performing, or what would I like to walk into on the catwalk, or what would I like to walk into with the saloon doors? Like, I imagine myself when I enter a room, I imagine like saloon doors and like my spurs clicking and everybody looks around and it's like, you know, that's how I like to.
What would your theme song be?
That's funny. You're the first person that's asked me this. And so I haven't given it a ton of thought. Well, I always said, you know, as a young girl in the performing arts, if I had gone a different direction to pay the bills, which I did not, I always said that if I needed to be a private dancer, you know,
dancer for money,
my song would totally be Pour Some Sugar on Me. It's hey, I mean, that's like totally how I think of myself. It's like, it's a little bit mysterious, but then there's a pop, you know?
Do that again.
Pop. I waited for the effect. Did you feel it?
Yeah, I felt it.
Was it palpable?
It's palpable.
Yeah.
I might close my eyes on the second one because I was trying to feel it and do it at the same time.
Oh,
my hair didn't flip like yours.
Oh, well, you know. It's the hard water. It's working for me.
It's very poison.
Fluffy. It's very poison fluffy.
It's very poison.
I know. But yeah, and I think that's what it would be.
Yeah. That's a good theme song.
Yeah.
Pour some sugar on me.
In the name of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what isn't in the name of love, really?
Right.
You know?
In the name of love. I might have picked the wrong key on that one.
No, you're probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. In the name of love. Probably because it's a guy.
Yeah.
Bono. Yeah.
Yeah, Bono.
Did you know that I was his personal waitress one night?
No.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know it. I was working at a bowling alley. #tangent. I was in New York City and I was working as a cocktail waitress and I was working at like an upscale bowling alley, and they told me they were sending me to a different location that night. And then when I got there, I found out
dancer for money. No,
I would have made more money that way. But they said, you're working a private party tonight. I was like, okay. They're like, you got the memo about the special costume, right? I'm like, no. Our like uniform for that bowling alley was like a 50s diner kind of like, you know, the buttons all the way down, and then you'd unbutton lots of them, of course, because you want to get good tips, and then you could wear whatever color of Converse you wanted. So I had pink glitter Converse, and that's what I was wearing. And they said, oh no, the costume for tonight is a little black dress and heels. Which I did not have. And some girl happened to have an extra one in her locker because New York City. She's like, I have an extra little black dress you can wear.
Private dancer.
Yeah, but I had no bra. I couldn't wear a bra with it. And so I just had to go braless. And then they're like, actually, we're putting you in the VIP room. I'm like, okay. And then I found out later in the night, they said it's for the Spider-Man premiere on Broadway. It's their after party. Okay, great. And then it like the night went further and further. They're like, actually, just you and one other waitress are allowed in this room. Like, you're allowed in the room, and Spike Lee is not. Like, I was on the list, and then finally I got to the room. Like, they wouldn't release the details to me until I was all the way in there and like away from my phone, you know. And then they said, you're the private waitress to Bono tonight. It was so cool.
That's cool. Hey, I want to give a special shout out to Simon Houston, my wingman, Bono's cousin.
Oh wow!
Since you mentioned Bono, I'm like, I gotta say hi to Simon. Simon, love you, bro.
Oh wow! Look at that. He's just one up in there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
You didn't. You didn't. Oh no! I love it. You just you took it and you ran with it. I loved it.
As soon as you mentioned Bono, I'm like, man, I gotta think of Simon. He would just.
That's so cool.
Anyway.
You know, 6 degrees of 7 bacon.
Kevin!
Kevin!
7 bacon. 6 degrees of 7 bacon.
I don't know where that came from.
Thank you, folks. We'll be here all week.
They've already tuned off by now.
Oh.
Oh, just kidding. Let's get back to the questions. This is going to be fun. Finish this sentence. When I'm 80, in, the linear timeline, I'll be
17,061 years old. Look, I hope to be doing all the things that I'm doing now when I'm 80 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I did send you that meme the other day. Or it was like AI art that someone created about those women in their 80s and they're wearing like leopard.
Oh, yeah,
driving down the street. I hope we're like Thelma and Louise and we're like, psh.
We just don't want to die going off a cliff, but we'll wear the outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, by then cars will probably be flying.
That's true.
Because
We'll
that's
go
still
off
like
the
100
cliff.
years away from now.
Oh, and then we'll go into a wormhole, and then we'll
Dude.
go into like another dimension.
That'd be cool.
That's hashtag Thelma and Louise 2025.
Yeah.
You know? I love it. Favorite dessert?
That's a hard one. I do love chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, you can throw out all the allergies.
Oatmeal chocolate chip cookies.
The oatmeal makes it so moist. Sorry, I threw out that word, but
Moist.
there's no other word that matches that description.
Yeah.
You know?
Oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. If I had to pick any dessert, that would probably be the one that I would have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And ice cream. Like
I know.
cookies and cream ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's my son's favorite too. What's a book you would recommend for everyone to read?
Okay. I've been really thinking about that one for the last couple of days. And one that hit my mind this morning is one called There's Always Enough. And it's by Heidi Baker, who's this 5'3", blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady who lives in Mozambique, Africa. And she talks about how when she and her family moved to Africa, they had nothing, and then they had all these kids that came to live with them. And so they would talk. She talked about how like beans and rice would multiply, and there would be miracles from heaven. Yeah, it's a really cool book, especially because a lot of my journey, and I'm sure sometime we'll get into it, has been about trust and not going the traditional route. And so I've had to live in a way where I see miracles happen. And so that's one of the books.
You lived in Mozambique.
I did live in Mozambique for 4 years. It was awesome.
Yeah, we definitely want to talk about that part of your journey next time.
So that was one of the books. And then Brooke Shields, she wrote There Was a Little Girl. It's the memoir she wrote about her mother. I just recently listened to an audiobook, so I definitely recommend that. And I know I'm giving you multiple books, but these are just the ones that...
You know I like multiples.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
And then the Pride and Prejudice book on Audible, told by... she was in the movie. What's her name? Crap. It starts with a J. Anyways, Pride and Prejudice. She was in the 2005 version. She played Jane. Good night, nurse. What the
Keira Knightley?
No. The Jane. The Jane is the blonde.
Okay. I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, well, it's a good movie.
I need to watch
the
it.
BBC version is my favorite of that one. So that book is great. And then Emma Thompson reads Sense and Sensibility on Audible, and it's fantastic.
Ooh, Ooh,
Yes.
yeah, I would like to check that out. Yeah, I read a lot on Audible.
Yeah.
Read, listen.
I know you've introduced me to some good books. I'm still listening to The Leap.
Yeah,
The
good.
Big Leap, The Leap Effect, or whatever.
Big Leap.
The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Yeah, and then I just started listening to it yesterday. Let Them by Mel Robbins. Loving it so far.
Cool. I keep hearing that one recommended, so I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Oh, Desi, this is so fun. And bonus, I think we lost 5 pounds in sweat because it's super hot in here.
And you're wearing this fluffy striped sweater.
I know.
Which, you know what, to be honest, to be fair, you were considering changing. But I'm like, well, let's just roll because we're like having these moments that were super fun.
I know. And we both wore pink today. We were like, ah!
Pink and like a cool color.
Well, that was certainly fun for me. I hope that you enjoyed it and got as many laughs as we did creating this fun episode. I love the unscripted fun. I can kind of see making a series of this where I invite some of my performer friends to come in and we're just kind of off the cuff doing things live. Let me know if that's something that you might be interested in as a little spinoff of Star Potential here. I will include all of the fun hashtags that we created and let's see if we can make them go viral. Maybe we'll start a thing. But you know, in all seriousness, we did have some really great and I hope philosophical, make you think type of takeaways from today's conversation mixed in with all the laughs. Here are a few of my favorites. Linear time is a construct of the mind. It's not ultimate reality. Our souls come here to learn lessons and with certain intentions, and the timing is sometimes different than what we planned. This doesn't mean that we're behind. So keep that in mind as you're going after the things that you love and pursuing. Next, often the most painful experiences in our lives are the ones that shake up our world so much, cause us to question everything, and give us a broader and higher perspective on our existence. And then we can actually look back on those painful experiences with gratitude and see how they altered our course in a positive way. I loved this quote from Desi, "When you dare to question, you open yourself up to the unknown." And it can feel really scary, but you also open yourself up to all the possibilities. Next, sometimes we have to lose control or loosen the reins in order to get to our true creativity. So one of the best ways to shake things up and see things from a different perspective can be to loosen your control a little bit. Find a way to take a step back and see things more clearly. I love this from Desi, the get to list. So instead of making your to-do list, which I get great satisfaction from writing out and crossing things off, think of it as a get to list. These are the things I get to do today. That small little shift in perspective totally changes your vibration and the energetic mood that you're carrying with you throughout the day and throughout the world. Next, we talked about implementing a practice of gratitude or a practice in creativity. The only way we're going to expand and get better in these areas is to practice them. It's not an overnight thing. But with time, you will learn how to do it with more simplicity and ease. The quickest way to raise your vibration is gratitude. And we also talked a little bit about breath work. We didn't go into a lot of breath work today, but we did talk about just pausing to recenter with your breath. It sounds so simple, but it is so powerful. I would love to hear what your aha moments and takeaways are from today's conversation. To connect with Desi, follow her on Instagram. Her handle is at DunamisDesi. That's DUNAMISDESI. From Instagram, you will also find her designer site, her mobility site, and lots of ways to connect with her. So definitely find that in the show notes and go out today and connect with the person that lights you up the way Desi and I do for each other. Have a great day and see you next time. Thank you for tuning into Star Potential with Julie Jo Hughes. If this episode resonates with you, I invite you to take 2 seconds, scroll down, and click 5 stars on the rating. It's a fast and easy way to help the show gain exposure and momentum. If you're loving the show, I invite you to leave a quick review about what you love. Reviews are like gold to podcasters, and to show my gratitude, you'll be entered to win my monthly giveaway when you send me a screenshot of your review. I also made you a gift. It's a 9-minute, simple gratitude meditation with singing to help you practice mindfulness. Just visit me on Instagram at @TheJulieJo or find the link in the show notes. Thank you for your love and support. Until next time, keep shining your light. And that's a wrap.